Hey guys, so I wanted to make a quick video about how I manifested being made a moderator on the Neville Goddard subreddit, which sounds dumb and is dumb. But in my mind, this was a long shot, something that I didn't think would ever happen. They had asked for mods at a point in the past, and I had offered and literally was completely, like, in every way ignored. Nobody even said thank you for offering, but... and I attributed that to being kind of a controversial person on that subreddit. When I first started posting there, which was like 3 years ago, it was a pretty small subreddit. And small subreddits can be really interesting when they don't have a lot of looky-loos and, like, you know, random people, when they're just people that have sought it out because they're interested in the topic. You know, it can be small enough in the beginning that some really interesting things get discussed and posted. And it was on its way down when I first found it. It was getting too big already, but it was still pretty cool in the beginning. This channel exists thanks to that subreddit, because I just one day made a video instead of typing out something and posted it on my personal YouTube, you know, repository. It wasn't even a YouTube channel. It was just like the YouTube account associated with my email. And that's how this channel started. I had no inkling whatsoever of having a YouTube channel. This was just, I don't know, never even entered my mind my entire life until it just kind of happened one day. But, you know, as the sub has grown, I think, you know, I've disagreed with some of the core concepts that people have taken to be what Neville Goddard said. I haven't found some of these things to be true in my experience. You know, I've been vocal about certain opinions that I have about this and certain things that I think people are doing that are leading them down a bogus path. And unfortunately, they're leading others down the same path by talking about certain things like they're fact. And so I've just been, you know, I've gotten into it with some people on there. It's just, I'm not like, you know, I'm pretty blunt about things sometimes. And so I have like a little minor vocal group of haters, and, you know, I offered to be a mod and basically was ignored. So I was like, okay, this will never happen. And this was a big part of the reason why I wanted to manifest it, because, you know, there are few things that, I'm interested in that I can't just directly go and get. There's not a lot of things that I would even be willing to, like, put any focus or energy on manifesting. There just aren't very many. This was one of them. I was like, you know, this is something that I think is very unlikely to happen. And if it did, I would have to attribute it to this focused attention that I'm putting into this. So in January of this year, it's October 2022 right now. In January of 2022, I told my fiance Matt about this. I wrote it in a note on my phone that I'm going to manifest becoming a moderator of this subreddit. And it really wasn't about being a moderator at all. It was just about this thing happening that I didn't think was likely to happen. And so all I didn't imagine moderating. It wasn't like I wanted to be a moderator. So I didn't imagine moderating. I just imagined seeing my name in the moderator list. Simple. Don't overcomplicate it. I just imagined the moderator list with my name at the bottom, like it would be if I had just been added as a moderator. And so I had that image in my mind. You know, you can just like go on the website and sort of memorize what a website page looks like, and then just make this tiny alteration of your name being there. It was very easy. So that was the image that I had. I could see it in my mind now. I just kind of burned it into my mind that I could see this thing, so that anytime I thought of it, I could flash that image in my mind. And then, as sort of an homage to Neville Goddard himself, I don't usually do this purposely. I do this accidentally a lot, but I don't usually do this purposely. I put myself in the scene of, you know, sitting in front of my computer. I could feel my fingers on the touchpad, moving around on the screen where I could see my name at the bottom of the moderators list. That's it. I just was there in the scene like it was happening right now. I did that one time, maybe twice. I have a hard time remembering. It definitely wasn't more than that because it wasn't important enough for me to put any more effort into it than that. So that was that. I actually didn't even really go on the subreddit much for probably 3 or 4 months. I don't think, at the beginning of the year is my busy time at work, and the subreddit has really gone downhill. It really has. It's too big now, and these concepts are too, they're too easy for somebody who has no idea what they're talking about to just sort of memorize and then start telling other people, which people love to do online. So it's just kind of turned into a weird echo chamber, and it's just not very valuable anymore. There's just not a lot of valuable perspective being shared. And so it's just not a very interesting place to be. And I've stopped posting there because I don't particularly enjoy being in an environment where if I say something, I'm going to have to debate back and forth with everybody all day. It's just not, what's the point? So I wasn't even really on there until like April. And then I noticed that there was a moderator on there who was starting to become sort of a dictator, and who had taken on the role of teacher and was deleting people's posts, deleting people's comments for not what I consider to be a very good reason, and was, posting his own opinions and pinning them to the top of every thread. And it was just, what was going on was bizarre. And so I'm friends with one of the mods outside of Reddit, and then another one I'm connected with on Facebook. I wouldn't really say we're like friends. We don't talk very much, but friendly enough, And so first I was telling my friend about this, but she wasn't even really moderating because being a moderator there sucks. I will get to that in a minute. Being a moderator on that subreddit sucks. So she was just like taking a break, not even going on the site at all. And I was just like, man, like some bad shit's going down there. Like the sub really needs to be more, it needs to be like, I had an idea about it. I'm like, the top level posts need to be on point. Like they need to be about Neville Goddard. But people should be able to say what they want in the comments. Like that shouldn't be being censored. This is ridiculous. And there's this guy there doing this thing, and she was like, oh my God, really? But that was it. I was just, complaining. I don't know what you would call it. I wasn't trying to get her to do anything about it. I wasn't trying to do anything. I was just like, talking. That's what I'm saying. There was not much intention that went into this manifestation. I was just talking about what was going on there. And then, I don't remember the precipitating event for this, but maybe a month or two later, it was the very beginning of June, I saw something on there, and I was just like, this is ridiculous. And so I sent a message to the guy that I'm connected with on Facebook, who's a moderator there. And I just said, hey, what do you think? Like the sub's kind of like really, because I knew he didn't think the sub was very good either. I was just like, what do you think? Something needs to happen. The sub needs an overhaul. This isn't good. It's really big. Like this is going to harm more people than it helps, having this kind of stupid shit, be their introduction to all this stuff. What do you think about my idea? What do you think about closing the sub to posts other than being directly related to Neville Goddard? That'll be easy. That's a very like narrow requirement. Like that will reject almost all the shitty posts that are coming through and they're getting posted by this other guy. And what do you think about that? I was just throwing it out there. I wasn't like trying to be pushy and make it happen or anything. I was just like, hey, what do you think about this? He's like, well, are you willing to help? And I thought he meant, are you willing to help submit content? And I was like, yeah, of course. It's not that hard. Grab some Neville Goddard, write a couple lines about it, let people discuss it, let people actually read the words that the guy wrote and decide what it means for themselves. Specifically, the people that come by and just read posts but don't read comments. I was thinking this is a great idea. Of course I'll help. And the next day I got to work. Literally becoming a mod did not even enter my mind. I came to work the next day. I had an invitation in my email to become a moderator there. Done. Manifested. That certainly wasn't the first time I've made a suggestion. It just happened. And as suspected, I actually did not want to be a moderator. Being a moderator totally sucked. It was pretty much just me and my friend who was taking a break. And so knowing that she didn't really want to be doing a lot of stuff, I stepped in and started like doing a lot of it myself, and it was totally overwhelming. Completely sucked, unpaid, of course. And I was just, after a while, I was like, what am I doing? Like, you know, this is unpaid work. It's not really working. People weren't following the rules. Other moderators were allowing posts through that didn't adhere to the rules. So I was just like, the sub's too big. I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. And I left. That's the story of my manifestation of being a moderator on the Neville Goddard subreddit. I did try to make it better, but sometimes things are just too big. It's like Vadim Zeland talks about in Reality Transurfing. When enough minds come together, it seems to create an entity of its own, and that thing has certain rules and regulations that come into play, and there's no regard for any of the personal members. It's just a bunch of energy feeding into this thing. It becomes its own. It takes on its own life, and that is what seemed to happen to the subreddit. So whatever, no harm, no foul. I'll never get that 2 months of my life back, but it was definitely worth it to have yet another thing that I didn't think could or would happen, that I did a very small amount of focused, visualizing and intention about, let it go, and it came about. And it was also something that continuously bothered me. I was like, what, is this thing going to happen? I doubt it. Do I even really want it? There was a lot of like stuff. I was just like, I'm going to have to be a moderator. Do I really want that? No. There was a lot of like, mental stuff in that 5 months between when I actually intended for it, when it happened. And that to me is a sign that it's going to happen for me. Not a sign, but that for me is an indicator for myself that there's enough of a focus on it from my end to bring it about. Like if I just forget about something, I don't know if it's gonna, ever happen. I've made lists of things that I've intended for, and they don't all materialize. But the ones that keep coming back up again, so like I'm on the subreddit here and there, I'm just like, man, this place sucks. I should really be a moderator here and try to change some things. Like that came up multiple times. Having put in the effort and having it not have manifested annoyed me. That came up multiple times. And now I've come to the conclusion that if that is happening, then it'll definitely happen. It'll definitely materialize. So anyway, I don't know. I hope that helps somebody with something or entertains somebody. Have a great day.